Good morning, class 3 and 4. Welcome to your reading session. So today we are going to finish off Ruby Finds a Worry. Okay, so I'm going to read the page that we finished on yesterday and then continue reading. Then one day something unexpected happened. Ruby noticed a boy sitting alone at the park. He looked how she felt, sad, and then she noticed something else, something hovering next to him. Could it be a worry? It was! Ruby realised that she wasn't the only person with a worry after all. Other people had them too. She asked the boy what was on his mind, and as he told her, the strangest thing happened. His worry began to shrink. Then Ruby did the best thing you can ever do if you have a worry. She talked about it. As the words tumbled out, Ruby's worry began to shrink until it was barely there at all. Soon both of their worries were gone. Finally, Ruby felt like herself again. Of course, that wasn't the last time she had ever had a worry. Everyone gets them from time to time. But now she knew how to get rid of them. They never hung around for long. Okay, I hope you all enjoyed this story. I've got some final questions for you, and then tomorrow we're going to look at a poem. So question 1, what does Ruby realise? Question 2, how did the boy's worry shrink? Number 3, how do you think Ruby felt when her worry disappeared? And number 4, what do you think the moral or the message of the story is? Hopefully you have all had a go at answering those questions then today. So we're going to go through the answers now. Number 1, what does Ruby realise? So Ruby realises that everyone has worries and it is completely normal. Number 2, how did the boy's worry shrink? So the boy's worry shrinks because he opens up and talks about it. Number 3, how do you think Ruby felt when her worry disappeared? So you might have put that she was relieved, she was happy, she was calm, she was pleased. Any of those would have been super answers. And finally, what was the moral of the story or the message of the story? It was that whenever you have a worry, don't keep it to yourself and worry about it more. Share it and talk about it so that it can go away. So just want to finish off, guys, by saying, have you got any worries? If you have, now is a perfect time to talk about them. You can email me, you can email Miss Cunnington, or you're at home at the moment with your mums or dads and brothers, sisters, anyone. You can open up and talk about it. It's nothing for you to worry about because if you can share it, we can help solve your worry, okay? I just want to leave you on that, guys. And tomorrow we're going to look at a poem, okay? Bye!
Good morning, class 3 and 4. I hope you're okay and got on alright yesterday. We are now on Wednesday the 17th of June and we are here with your writing. Okay, so we're going to practice some more fluency now. Focusing on our paragraphs, and we'll be thinking about the different focuses of these paragraphs. Okay, so we've got a bit of text here. I'm going to read it out for you, and I want you to have a think, what is the main focus of paragraph 1, the first one? Okay, but we'll have a read through all of it anyway, because that'll be useful for the next few questions. He'd never seen one before, and he wasn't disappointed. After all these years, Pedro was standing face to face with a white Bengal tiger. Well, not quite face to face. There was a very strong metal fence between them. However, it was close enough for Pedro to appreciate the size and strength of the beast. He was actually lost for words. That morning, his gran had arrived at Pedro's house with a surprise. She had won 2 tickets for the city zoo, and Pedro was to go with her. She had already packed a picnic. All they had to do was hop on the next available train to take them to the city. Standing in front of the tiger, Pedro was suddenly overcome with sadness. The remaining population now lived in captivity. This beautiful, magnificent creature would never set foot in the wild again. He would never roam freely through the wilderness or hunt for his own food. Pedro's sadness was quickly replaced with anger. Surely there was something he could do about it. Okay, so think about paragraph 1. What happens in that first paragraph? Does the author introduce a dilemma? So a dilemma is another word for a problem. So is a problem or a dilemma introduced in that first paragraph? Does it describe a location? or does it introduce a character? So let's go read it one more time and have a think, what does that first paragraph do? What do you think the job of that paragraph is? What's the main focus? He'd never seen one before, and he wasn't disappointed. After all these years, Pedro was standing face to face with a white Bengal tiger. Well, not quite face to face. There was a very strong metal fence between them. However, it was close enough for Pedro to appreciate the size and strength of the beast. He was actually lost for words. Okay, so have a little think about that bit then. And pause it now if you want to have a think, and then press play when you're ready for the answer. Okay, so here's the answer. It does in fact introduce a character. So in that first paragraph, we don't talk about any problems or dilemmas. It doesn't really describe a location. It doesn't actually say in that first paragraph where Pedro is. However, we do get introduced to Pedro and a white Bengal tiger, but the main character here would be Pedro. So that is who we're introduced to. So that first paragraph, the main idea of that one is to introduce, the main focus, is to introduce a character. So this works brilliantly when we are doing fiction, so narratives, and creating stories in our writing and engaging the reader in that way. This sort of idea of focusing each paragraph on things like this works really well, but it's not always the same when we're doing non-fiction. Okay, so do remember that. Okay, so which paragraph could the sentence below be added to? So we've already read this, and the sentence we want to add is, he loved animals just as much as her, so she knew he was the best person to take with her. Okay, so think about who's who in that sentence, because it says he and she. So I'll say it one more time. He loved animals just as much as her, so she knew he was the best person to take with her. So think about that there. Which paragraph could that sentence be added to? Are we going to add it to that first one when we're just introduced to Pedro? Are we going to add it to the second one? Or are we going to add it to the third one? So have a little think, which one would that be best suited to being added to? So pause it now whilst you have a think, and then we can go through the answer. Okay, so that would be best suited to paragraph 2, because this is where we meet Gran, where Gran is introduced, and here it says he loved animals just as much as her, so she knew he was the best person to take with her. So that she, that pronoun, is referring to Gran, because we know that she's won tickets. She won 2 tickets for the City Zoo, and she's planning to take Pedro with her. So this just explains that. So that sentence would have come fantastically after this one here. She'd won 2 tickets for the City Zoo, and Pedro was to go with her. He loved animals just as much as her, so she knew he was the best person to take with her. So that would have fitted in perfectly in the middle of that second paragraph. The first one is where we're introduced to the first character, Pedro, and the last one, that's when we are, that's when a dilemma is shared. Okay, where a problem comes to light. Okay, let me just check. I thought I missed a page then. So for today then, I want you to have a think back to that letter that we read yesterday from Joe to his uncle. Now, you're going to have a go at writing a letter this week to your teacher. So that will be either to me, year 3, or to Miss Foster for year 4. Now, I want you to think about your letter. Okay, now in Joe's letter, a lot of that was on focus around the lockdown and everything that's happening at the moment or has been happening. Now, I would love you to take this opportunity to write a letter to your teacher ahead of the time before we start coming back to school, hopefully anyway. So we're going to plan our paragraphs today, and we're going to really focus on using paragraphs. And I've tried to plan out a way to help you focus on the main focus of each of your paragraphs. So I was thinking, in your first paragraph, could you focus it on telling your teacher about everything you'd love to tell them about your experiences from lockdown? So all the great stuff that you've been getting up to. Now, I know I've had a few lovely emails, I've had lots of emails of pictures of things that people have got up to, not necessarily just work that they've done or their home learning, but amazing experiences and things that they've enjoyed and been able to do during this time at home. So think about what you'd like to tell your teacher about your experiences from lockdown. What are you looking forward to after lockdown? So once you're allowed to go out a bit more, and perhaps once you're allowed to go and see your friends more often, or perhaps when you're able to come back to school, what are you looking forward to? Now, it doesn't have to just be one thing. There might be lots of different things. And then finally, I want you to really think about what questions or worries you might have about coming back to school. Or perhaps not even, you might not have any worries or questions about coming back to school. You might just have some other worries or questions about lockdown ending in general. Now, this will give you a great opportunity to plan and think about things you might want to ask, perhaps in your next Zoom call as well. I want you to think really carefully about anything that might be on your mind or playing on your mind that you would like to talk to somebody about. This is a great opportunity to do that. We'll do lots and lots of talking when we do get back to school about everything that we've been going through. Okay, so please don't worry about that. But what I'd like you to do today is create a mind map to plan out your paragraphs to write a letter for your teacher. Okay, so I'm thinking that you can use the same sort of structure as Joe's letter. That's kind of the structure that he used. You might find that you've actually got a lot more to talk about than just 3 paragraphs. I've just given you 3 simple sort of a foundation there. You might find that you've got more to talk about with each one. You might end up doing 2 paragraphs for each of those ideas, okay? But today, all I want you to do is focus on those 3 main points and do a mind map for each of those, okay? We're just planning today. So what I would be doing if this was me, in my book, I would write down that sort of question. So what would you like to tell your teacher about your experiences from lockdown? Then I do a bit of a spider diagram or a mind map and just put down all around that sentence, all around that question, the different things that you've been doing. So perhaps you've learnt to ride your bike. Maybe you've learnt to tie your shoelaces. Perhaps you've been doing lots of gardening. Maybe you've been helping your community. Perhaps you've done some decorating at home. Anything at all. Perhaps you tried something new, perhaps you've done some baking, perhaps you've tried eating something new. Absolutely anything that you would love for us to know that you've been up to over this lockdown period. Okay, so it might be that you just want to put that in a list. You might want to do a mind map around it. Okay, for the second one, what are you looking forward to after lockdown? Again, I don't expect it to just be one thing. There's will be lots and lots of things you're looking forward to. So again, you can make a list or do a mind map of words around that question in your book. And then the last one, what questions or worries do you have about coming back to school? Absolutely anything that you want to know about coming back to school, or questions in general about lockdown finishing, anything at all that you have that you would like to ask, jot that down either around it or in a list. Okay? So today you're just planning and getting some ideas down for what you want to focus on in your paragraphs when we start writing it tomorrow. Okay? Have fun with this, guys, and remember there is no such thing as a silly question. All right? We've never gone through this before. So there's lots of things that lots of us don't know, and I can't promise you that I've got an answer or that Miss Foster will have an answer to every single one of your questions, but I can certainly find out for you. All right, I just really want you guys to be able to talk to us about this, and I think this will be a really lovely way to share as well all the fantastic things that you've been up to whilst you've been at home. Okay, I cannot wait to read these at the end of the week, but remember today you are just planning it out. Okay, so good luck with that, guys. Any problems at all, do not hesitate to email me or Miss Foster. Okay, I will see you tomorrow. Bye.
Good morning, Class 3 and Class 4. Welcome to your math session for today. So today, we're going to have a little look at recapping subtraction. Okay, so I'm going to start off with this one. 987 take away 456. So what I'd like you to do is have a go at this using the column subtraction method. So I'll put that on the screen now. So have a look at that, have a go in your books, pause me while you do, then come back when you're ready to go through the answers. Okay, so we start off, hopefully everyone remembered, in our units column or our ones column. So 7 take away 6 is 1, 8 take away 5 is 3, 9 take away 4 is 5. So 531 would have been our answer. So that's the column subtraction method. I'm hoping we've all remembered that one. Now, another way you can look at subtraction is using a number line. So if you want to have a little go at that, pause me and have a go. If not, just have a little listen and I'm going to go through it with you now. So we've started off with our smaller number, 453, and we've put our larger number on the other end, 684. And now we need to work out what the difference is. So to do this, we use the number line. So if we have a look, 453, we want to get to 460, our nearest 10. We're going to jump up 7. That's going to take us to 460. Okay. We're then going to jump on 40 to get us to our 500. So plus 40. We're then going to jump a whole 100 to get to 600. Then we're going to jump 80, so that's our nearest 10. And finally, we're going to jump that little 4. Okay, so then we need to put those numbers together. So 180, we've got 180. And then we've got our 7 and 4 is 11. Add 40 is 51. So we put this over here. 0 add 1 is 1. 8 add 5 is 13. Because we exchange. 1 add 1 is 2. So the answer is 231. Now, I personally find that a lot longer and long-winded than the column subtraction. But some of you, like I know Leah in my class, you love the number line, don't you, Leah? So some of you might find that this is the way forward for you. So we're going to explore one more way that you can do it, and then we'll have a little look at exchange before we go on to your do it. So obviously you're not at school, so you don't have counters, but there is nothing stopping you drawing out those counters if that helps. So we've got 400 here. And we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 7 in our tens. And we've got 4, 1. So we've got 474. And we want to take away 342. Okay. So if you were to draw out these counters, all you needed to do to subtract 342 is cross out those counters. So 300, we need to cross 3 of these out. 40, we need to cross 4 of these out. 2, we need to cross 2 of these out. And then we are left with 132. So that's quite a quick way of doing it. If you prefer that to the column subtraction, that's fine. So you're just going to draw them out and have a go. Right, we're going to have a little look at this one because this one requires you to do some exchanging or borrowing, you might know it as. So if we set it up as a column subtraction, so if we have a look at this one, we can do 2 take away 1 in our ones column. So we've got our 1 there. Now we come to our tens and it's asking us to do 3 take away 5, which obviously we can't do. So we are going to exchange. We're going to borrow from our little person next to us. So we're going to turn that 4 into a 3 and we're going to pass that 10 on to here. So 13 take away 5 is 8 and 3 take away 2 is 1. Okay. Now, my class, we've looked at this as the big bottom bandit, if you remember rightly. So if the bottom number is bigger than the top number, you need to borrow from, you need to pinch from the one to the left, okay? So have a look at that, make sure that all makes sense, because I know that exchange is quite tricky. Before we move on to the do it, I'm just going to go through a 4-digit takeaway 4-digit. Now, year 3, you've not done this yet, but year 4 you have. So when it comes to the do it, there's going to be a couple of questions which are 4 digits by 4 digits, which year 4 I would like you to do. Year 3, you are more than welcome to have a go at them, but if you'd rather just stick with the 3 digits, that's fine. But I'm just going to go through this one with you now, okay? Okay, so it works exactly the same as 3 digits by 3 digits. We start with our ones column. So 2 take away 7, we can't do. So we're going to steal and exchange from our tens column, so that becomes 8, and we're going to give it to this one. So 12 take away 7 is 5. 8 take away 5 is 3. 3 take away 4, oh, again, we can't do it, so we're going to exchange. 13 take away 4 is, of course, 9. 7 take away 4 is 3. Hope that makes sense. So for your do it today, you've got 4 questions which are doing your 3 digits take away 3 digits. And then you've got extra challenge of your 4 digits take away 4 digits. Year 4, I'd really like you to have a go at those if you can. And year 3, you're more than welcome to. Pause me while you do that, then move on to secure it, and then at the end of the video, I will go through the answers with you. You'll secure it for today. Jamie uses column subtraction to solve the calculation. So 266 take away 15. That's what he's written down. Have a look at the counters. Is that what he should have done? So explain the mistake that he has made. What is the correct answer? Okay, so I'm going to quickly go through the answers for you for your do it. You could have chosen to do these using the number line option, the column subtraction, or drawing your counters. I don't mind how you did it, but hopefully you got the following answers, so give yourself a tick if you did. So the first one, 894 take away 362, it was 532. The second one was 514. Third one was 148. Fourth was 532, and then if you went on to the extra challenge, you should have got 4014 and 2165. If, guys, you've got, let's say, 3 or more wrong, I'd like you to go back through the video and watch the techniques again where we do the different ways, and then come back and try and answer it in a different way and see if you get the right answer. If after that you're still not quite getting it, send me an email and we'll go through it together. And then you'll secure it. So Jamie uses column subtraction to solve the calculation. Explain the mistake that he has made. What is the correct answer? So the mistake he's made is he has put the number 105 into the wrong columns. He didn't put a 0 in the tens column. So what he should have looked like is this. Okay, so what he's done there is he's just gone 100. Oh, he's got 5 ones and he's put them in there and left this blank. That's not right. Okay, so we should have put a 0 in his tens because he's got no tens counters there, and his 5 on the end there. So the correct answer would have been, so 6 take away 5 is 1, 6 take away 0 is 6, and 2 take away 1 is 1. So the correct answer was 161. Give yourself a big tick if you got that. Okay, hope you've enjoyed your math sessions for today, and I will see you tomorrow.